with the goal being a smooth running Burman clutch. There's a number of other parts that we need to check. We've already taken a look at the throwout mechanism portion that lifts the clutch. Now we need to look at the individual plates. If you happen to have a piece of granite or something flat, you can drop the plate on them and see how they wobble or fit. If they're flat, they'll roll around and lay flat. If they're bent, they'll certainly show up when you put a finger on a corner, press them in a couple of different places, flop them over and see how they fit. You can use a feeler gauge. I've not found any specific information, but I generally rely on 5/1000ths of an inch as being sufficient light pressure on the plate. Turn it over and try both sides and should be able to identify a plate that isn't suitable. Here's a plate that when you press on it, it lifts on one edge, and it's not worth trying to straighten these plates. If they're no good, toss them out and buy other plates. You'll also find that sometimes little burrs on the teeth on the inside or the outer edge will mask a plate being flat. And if you find some burrs, you can take a stone and rub the burrs down, or an alternative method is put a piece of sandpaper or emery cloth down on a flat surface and rub the plate. And the high points will immediately show up and you'll be able to see where you need to work to get them off. Obviously your surface plate needs to be clean when you check, otherwise you'll get grit underneath it and it'll mask a problem. The friction plates need to be looked at as well, and it doesn't hurt if you have some doubt about the friction plate, you can rub them down on a piece of sandpaper and clean them up. But generally they're going to need to be brushed with a wire brush and then cleaned up. Do not wash them in soap and water, and I don't recommend people use gasoline to clean parts. Notice in the corners on the friction plates, if the corners are not square, they can be cleaned up with a file, but unless you're really desperate, you need to get it across the Sahara or something, I'd suggest you just toss the plates that are not clean and square in the corners. These are some things you need to look at in addition to the rest of the mechanism inside the clutch.